What's up, everybody? This is Sean with Morning Lifter. Thanks again for tuning in. I have another special guest. This is, I guess you could call it part two of the Garage Built Athlete interview with Will West. He is the, I guess you could say, the driving force behind at least the stories of your Instagram account, and probably the face as well, I would say. I think your brother's more on the back end of things, but you're definitely on the forefront and model connoisseur, I believe, too, right? Of all of the gear that you have. You guys, since I talked to your brother, I mean, you guys have really been exploding.
Yeah,
You know, I guess I was just going to say, the where's the growth coming from? Is it just more people seeing your page? Is it a gear? Is it a combination?
it's really Matt. So Matt does pretty much all of the engagement. So whilst I might appear more often on the feed, and I do all of the merchandise stuff. So I take the orders, I talk to the customers, I check it, I pack it. It goes all through the garage that I'm in now. He is there, every day, 3-4 times a day, going out to find people who train in garage, the street parking guys, the garage gym community, those sorts of hashtags. And what he likes to do and what he finds is the best way of going about engaging with people is actually doing some genuine comments on their posts. So things that drive me nuts at the minute is every time I put a post up, I'll have some men's trends thing saying, wow, DM for collab. And I just think, oh God,
Yeah.
It's just like horrendous.
Yeah.
And it's like on every single post that we want to interact with, or all the people that we see and we think, oh man, this is so cool. They've got a cool dog, or they've got a really cool t-shirt on, or their caption really resonates with us. There's some, bot on there with a couple of fire emojis and a DM for collab, and it just drives us nuts. So what we do is we see the stuff, with your posts especially. I think what caught Matt's eye was the filter that you use, because it just really gives that grit to your posts, and he absolutely loved it. And I think he must have probably commented about how cool the shots were and things like that. So people like that. And we like to show that we're genuinely interested, and we genuinely want to know, oh, how long did that workout take? Or how did those squats feel? That's what we want to do. So then we start up a conversation with people. They start to follow us, and then the interaction goes from there. So they'll comment on our bits, we'll comment on their bits, and we just like to keep in touch with people, really. But he does that pretty consistently every single day, 3-4 times a day, and that's how we're finding people. People aren't necessarily finding us so much. He's going out and getting them.
Right. I remember when I had started receiving a few posts from you all, and it was, that was the one thing that really stood out, was the authenticity of it, and you could tell like there was real I guess care and interest in what was going on. It wasn't just, as you said, the bot fire emoji, DM us for a promotion. We got 125,000 followers,
and get 40 likes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Right. Right. So that's kind of what I started, checking you guys out too. That's ultimately what led to this. So but I've been quietly following your progress and how fast you guys have been growing, and so it's really a neat thing to see, especially with the merchandise you guys are tuning out or putting out. The other thing too is not only the engagement, but I think what I like the most is something that your brother had mentioned, was the community. He had mentioned that you guys are trying to build a community. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think one thing for me, one thing that I would love to have in my garage gym is loads of people to train with, because I just find that I can come in and I can do my thing, and I can get it done 3, 4, 5 times a week. But where Instagram steps in is that you can interact with people about their training. So I also train at a CrossFit box, and the friends that I've made there, I really value. So I like to go and train and compete in CrossFit as well. So what the whole sort of angle of building a community was about, was that showing people that actually there are people just like you that are, 9 to 5, they've got full-time jobs, they've got family, they've got responsibilities, they've got bills to pay, and they are still getting the work in the garage gym, and just crushing it every single day and just grinding at it. And I think sometimes that when you know that there's other people out there and you can see them and you can interact with them and you can say, hey, good job, it starts to feel like you're part of something. And that's really what we wanted the Garage Built Athlete to be, is that you feel like you're part of the crew. So we always, say, oh, there's, GBA crew member, or there's a Garage Built Athletes over here, because they are part of it for us, whether it's they've bought a t-shirt or they've tagged us in a post, or they've used the hashtag. That's all part of the community that we're trying to build. We really like to put posts out there, ask questions so that people can answer them as well and get involved. Like, I don't know if you saw the one I did recently about the assault bike. I just spent an hour on it yesterday. I just jumped on it for an hour and put a post up to say, just name a song that just describes the air bike, and we get so many people commenting, and it's just a lot of fun that we're trying to have with people, and make it genuine, make it with a bit of humor. We don't take ourselves too seriously. I think people like that. I think it really resonates with people. They see themselves in what we do.
Yeah, I almost would describe it. It seems like it would be like a virtual gym almost. The way your page feels, it's almost like if you were to walk in, like for us here, it'd almost be like walking in the locker room at a YMCA or something, where there's a bunch of people, and you all just kind of sit around and talk before a lifting session and just kind of shoot the shit a little bit. And that's kind of the attitude that I sense from your page. And it's all, like you said, it's very lighthearted and very, very supportive. And that's something that is really good. And it's no wonder that you guys are getting the traction that you're getting. But it also seems like you guys are pretty diverse too, in terms of, it's not just CrossFit. It's not just, powerlifting, for example. What else are you guys expanding out to? I know I had seen some, it was either BMX or motocross. Is that right?
Yeah. So Matt's a big fan of anything with wheels, anything speed related. He likes to throw himself off mountains and all that kind of stuff. So, any enduro, he's into mountain biking, motocross, snowboarding. He's kind of the extreme sports kind of guy, so he likes that. I live the county that I live, so like the state in America, the county that I live is just completely flat, so you can't do any of that stuff around here. I've got a mountain bike. It's a cross country bike, so it's pretty fast on roads and things like that, but he kind of wants to bring that side of things in, and what we tend to work on our model is just to go ahead and do it. If you want to go and do something, just go ahead and take that first step and do it. So we've got some prototype tees that he's just had built. He's designed a logo. He wants it to be inclusive enough that even if you don't train powerlifting or you don't train CrossFit, but you want to train for something, like you will get something out of the page. So a lot of the training that he does helps him for the sports that he does. He wants to be strong because it can help him hold on to a motocross bike. He wants to have power in his legs because that will help him on a snowboard. All those kind of things help him do the stuff that he enjoys. Whereas me, I'm slightly different. I kind of just do it because it now feels like I've always done it. And I think, is it Mark Bell who said nobody ever regretted getting strong? So it just feels like a good thing to do with my time, to spend getting strong.
I would agree. Yeah, that's something that I've kind of adapted as I've gotten older too. What else do you have to do, like in your free time? Well, might as well work out, I guess. So it beats sitting on the couch wasting away. So at least you're feeling productive. That was one of the things that I always enjoyed about weightlifting, and especially doing it in the morning. I think that's one of the reasons why I ended up starting the page, is because Jocko Willink talks about this too a little bit. When you work out, at least for me in the morning, you start your day with an accomplishment. So when you start off the day with an accomplishment that early in the day, it can snowball and lead to more. So I think, at least for me, that was a good starting point. For you though, when, like, I mean, you're a busy guy, right? So you have a wife and a family,
Mhm.
and where are you finding the time to not only work out, but finding the time to fit in all of the business side of the GBA?
Yeah, I think I don't know how successful I am at it.
It's
Something,
all a struggle for all of us too.
yeah, something always has to be sacrificed, and I think I quite enjoy training for myself, and I find it helps with just well-being and mental health and things like that. So if I'm starting to feel maybe stressed or anxious, then I feel like actually if I just burn a load of calories, if I can just do a session, that will then level me out to be able to be a better husband or a better father, because I won't have that stress level there.
Yeah.
I struggle with things like noise. If it's too noisy, I can't concentrate, and all these kind of things go on. And when you're in a house with a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, it's constantly noisy. There's TVs going, there's songs and games, and everything's kicking off. So I almost like escape to the garage to get my training done, and then have that time for myself. It is selfish time, and then that then allows me to go back in and spend more quality time, rather than maybe getting irritated and not dealing with things so well. But at the minute, I think lockdown has just given us a huge opportunity here. I know it's affected so many people in so many different ways, but I was traveling for work, just commuting between 2 and 3 hours every day.
Wow.
So I'd have then on top of that, an 8-hour work day, and then I'd get home, spend an hour or so with the kids, and then try and do some training as well. And then it would be lights out, bedtime, do it all over again. Now, since obviously coronavirus came in, we're doing things like this all the time. I'm quite used to video meetings.
Yeah.
I'll start work maybe 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, work all the way through, finish it just before school time. I can go and collect my kids, spend a couple of hours with them, get some sessions at the CrossFit gym, do some training at home, still have some time in the evening. So it's really opened things up for me, especially these last 6-7 months. It's been a bit of a blessing in disguise for the work-life balance, at least.
Yeah, that was something that your brother and I discussed too. I mean, it has, for some people, it's been a disadvantage, but for a lot of people, if you found a way to work it out correctly, I mean, it's been a blessing in disguise for a lot of people, especially now that so many people have been forced into the video conferencing world. People are finding out, I can actually work at home and be just as productive.
Yeah, if not more.
And they're finding out, like you, for example, you gained 2 to 3 hours from that commute. So now you've gotten so much more time, and that gives you the opportunity to not only do things for yourself, but it's good for your own mental health too.
Yeah. And we at the minute, my wife is fantastic, because she supports the trainer. She even calls the garage the gym. So I finally pushed through a barrier.
That's good. I mean, you've gotten it trained then. That's it,
we're getting a shed so we can move some of the stuff out of the back. It is fantastic. But always at the back of my mind is that whilst I'm in here, I'm not spending time with my family. And I try and get them in. I really love it. My kids will come in here and they'll want to do training. They'll obviously come in at the worst time, when I'm in a top set squat and they want to come and sit in the squat rack, and it's pretty hairy. But we do little bits and pieces. We do some workouts and stuff in here together. We've got a green outside the front. We'll go and have a little run around the green, and that's where I think the beauty of having a gym at home can really be seen, is that you can just invite these people in to share in the thing that you really love doing, without having to go through a health and safety assessment or be over the age of 18 or pay a monthly subscription. They can just come in, and if they want to train, cool. If they want to cheer you on, amazing. Just don't throw chalk everywhere because I've already done that.
Yeah, the chalk can be messy.
Yeah, my daughter, she's straight in for the chalk. Doesn't matter what she's doing. You know, she pick up a half a kilo dumbbell. She's like, "Can I have some chalk?" I was like, "Go on then." She loves it.
Well, at least she's understanding what it's used for then, right?
Yeah, that's right.
She's not coloring the dumbbell though, right? I mean,
No.
that's good. Now, so you mentioned that you also go to a CrossFit gym, and would you say that, I mean, is CrossFit your main program of choice?
I've got a really fine balance between the powerlifting stuff and the CrossFit stuff. So I was primarily a powerlifting. I've been training at home since my son was born, so he's 7. And I found that doing the powerlifting stuff and trying to do a little bit of Olympic lifting was like just a good way to get in a relatively high amount of work in a short period of time. You know, you can do a full squat session in, you know, sort of 40, 50 minutes if you don't hang around. You can get in a really good workout, and you need minimal equipment. But I've always been interested in CrossFit. I started doing bits and pieces probably about 11, 12 years ago, when I used to go to a gym in my lunch break, and I used to get the workout of the day sent through by email to my phone, and I try and like set up some of the equipment to try and do something similar to what the workout of the day was. And I just found that a really interesting way of training. And as it grew, I sort of came away from it a bit. I wasn't too fussed about the fitness side of things. I just wanted to get a bit stronger, which in powerlifting world means just you can just eat whatever and just, you know, be fat and strong, which is quite fun. And yeah, so I didn't really touch it for quite a long time. I just focused on the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. I had a little go at some local competitions and was, you know, very below average. And I can't really remember what started me going to the CrossFit gym, but I remember I couldn't go for a time because I injured myself pulling a deadlift, and I really messed up like my piriformis. I did it twice in the same year, and from then I just changed up the style of training that I was doing. So I was always doing 5-3-1 with Jim Wendler.
Yeah,
so always just pushing the heavier, reset your cycle, go again, heavier. Always trying to push the AMRAP, you know, just really grinding stuff out. And my body was just battered. I had to change cars because I was really uncomfortable in the car I was in, and I had burning pain in my hips. It was awful. You know, looking back, I realized how silly it was. But I changed up the style of training because I got injured, and I started doing some Juggernaut hypertrophy work, the Chad Wesley Smith and Juggernaut trainer system. And I found that was just horrendous. You know, I don't know if you've ever done, you know, ridiculous volume of front squats and then had to do barbell lunges in the same session. I used to call it the sickener. I used to dread it every Monday. It was awful. And after a while of doing that, I found that my fitness was getting a bit more, and I had got rid of the pain, the piriformis, all that kind of stuff was cleared up. It was gone. And I think they were doing some free sessions down at the CrossFit box near me. So I just signed up and just went for it because I've always wanted to try it. And yeah, I sort of just went from there. I just really fell in love with it. And having done all the powerlifting translates over so well to the CrossFit stuff. I thought I'd go in there and be like one of the stronger people there. Because I'd done a lot of barbell work, and man, was I wrong. They are strong. They are so strong. I was like, man, I'm going to suck at CrossFit as well as powerlifting. So yeah.
Well, if you're going to suck at one thing, why not suck at two, right?
Yeah, just be crap at everything.
You can excel at being really shitty. So that's an okay thing. That's all right, because there's some things too, like I'm terrible at, like lunges. Just the thought of lunges makes my knees hurt. But you know, I think that's you bring up an interesting point too, because I think especially with the injury, you know, I'm no spring chicken anymore. And as you get older, I think it's important to recognize what you can and cannot do. but keeping your body strong, man, that's just important in and of itself.
Yeah.
But recognizing, to, not do lunges because it's going to be detrimental to your
Hmm.
knee, just
Hmm.
so, but some people might do it for the gram,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so they could post it. But at the end of the day, they end up being in more pain. So
Yeah.
I think there's a fine line too between that. But, understanding and recognizing your body is so important. And that's one reason that I picked up the Mars bar, was because I can't do back squats anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I wanted to, but I couldn't. I've got a blown shoulder, and I just can't reach the bar. Now I can do a buffalo bar, but a
Mm.
straight bar, I haven't touched a straight bar in years for a traditional back squat. So that's been something, that has been, I guess, relieving,
Mhm.
to get to that point where you can recognize something.
Yeah.
So
That tends to, that wisdom, I suppose you might call it, tends to fleet as well. It tends to go away sometimes.
yeah, yeah. I get a little froggy sometimes with some things, and then my body checks me
Yeah.
the next day. And so when that cycle comes back around, I recognize, I probably shouldn't do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's nice to keep you in check though, every now and again. It's like this. I don't drink anymore. I used to enjoy a drink, and now maybe at Christmas, maybe a barbecue, I might have a beer. But it took until I had a hangover and I had to get up early and look after my kids, that I couldn't bend down to open their sock drawer without wanting to be sick, and that was it.
yeah,
I'd been hungover before. I'd
sure.
had plenty of hangovers, but never to that degree. And now when I'll get invited out and I'm just like, no, I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
I just can't face that sort of torment,
Yeah,
that pain.
it is, man. It's fun while you're doing it, but then your body really
Yeah.
kicks your ass when
Yeah.
everything's all said and done. So
Yeah. I recently I sort of, when I was talking about the powerlifting and the CrossFit being the balance, I'll always want to hit my numbers on the squat, the deadlift, and the bench in my 5-3-1 program. That'll be my priority for the week, and then whatever workouts that are happening, I'll do them, but I'm not too fussed how fast I go or how heavy I go. That's sort of just for conditioning. And I had a week off work, and I think it was like the heaviest week in powerlifting, and I wanted to go to CrossFit like every single day that week and just see how my recovery was, because I'm 37 now, and I've started this year I've started doing mobility work. Why not? And I was finding that actually I could recover a lot quicker, whereas before I was doing the mobility, before I was using the massage guns and things, it was really kicking my butt.
yeah,
But I was doing in a heavy week, and I'd done, I think, 5 CrossFit sessions, and they did a Sunday special where they did this workout called the Batman. And oh my God, it was so rough. It was so bad. It was, I can't even remember what it was. It was like 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, box jumps, wall balls, kettlebell swings in a weight vest, with running, and then deadlifts at the end. And
wow,
it just ruined me for 2 weeks, at least 2 weeks. I can still
really?
feel it. Yeah, I can still feel it. But that was one of those things where I was like, I almost got too confident, because I was like, oh, training's going really well. I'm hitting my numbers in the garage. I'm smashing these sessions out. Yeah, why not? I'll go for this mental workout.
Yeah,
And there was another one recently. There was the option of doing it in this other workout in a weight vest, and I picked my weight vest up. I took it to the box to do it, because I'm trying to push myself in the CrossFit stuff. And I brought it in and I put it down, and I just knew if I put that weight vest on, I'm just going to be absolutely battered for another week. So I didn't. I just left it there. So that was the hangover story all over again. Really,
yeah,
I knew how bad I'd feel after doing it. I knew it would feel bad doing it as well, but I sort of, that little bit of me just picked it up and took it there anyway.
yeah. What would you say is the difference between trying to do CrossFit at your house versus
Mhm.
the box? Is it just the other people around you? Is it the motivation? Can you get yourself motivated to really push yourself to that next level at home versus at the box?
Um, the box closed for 3 or 4 months, and they lent out all their gear, which was really good. So I already had quite a bit of stuff. So I think I grabbed like a plyo box and a wall ball, and I programmed myself some really really horrible stuff. I before the lockdown, I was sort of wanted to compete in scaled categories, so it's lighter weights, it's less complex movements. But I started to progress towards the RX version, so the recommended, especially like the what you should be doing if you're going to do a competition. And I found that actually training at home, I it hurt more. It would take me longer, and I would very quickly get to the place in my head where I was like, "Why the bloody hell am I doing this? I need to quit." And that's every time I get into a workout, that's where my head goes. I'm like, "You
Yeah.
should be stopping. You can't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it." Um, but the workouts that I was programming for myself were, just worse than anything that we'd been doing in the box. I think I wanted to really test myself and push myself to get to the next level where I wanted to go, to the RX versions of workouts. But yeah, it is completely different when you're doing that on your own. If you haven't got the music pumping, if you haven't got the person that you're chasing, or the person that's chasing you, or just somebody to give you like a, oh, go on, you can do it, keep going, you've got this. That really does help, and that really does push you. But also, I find when I am training on my own, because I'm used to it, I know I can keep going. It's that having that discipline and that self-talk really benefited me when I then went back to the CrossFit box, because I can do it on my driveway, so I know I can do it in this really nice facility. The key difference that I didn't have at home was the pull-up bar you can see behind me. There's that much room between the bar and the ceiling, so if I do a pull-up on it, I can touch the ceiling with my head. So with CrossFit, you do stuff where you, like a bar muscle up, you'd go up and push up over the bar.
Right.
So I can't do that kind of thing. It's not high enough for me to do a lot of the gymnastics stuff on. But I did at one point, I just dragged the whole thing out onto the front lawn and did bar muscle ups and things out there just to get some practice in. So,
Bet your neighbors love that.
oh yeah, that's fine. I didn't say anything. They're fine.
Nobody was
My
willing
wife,
to join you though, huh?
yeah, no, not so much. But yeah, I think, I don't know what they think. Nobody's ever really come and said anything to me when I'm like out there for 45 minutes, barking like a seal and trying to do burpee box jump overs and throwing dumbbells around. I think they just keep walking.
Yeah. What would you say? Because you talked about discipline. What's your motivating force to continue with the consistency to do those hard workouts? Where are you getting that from?
I think it's in part it's that it's part of what I do every week now anyway. So it's just, that's what I do because I've done it for so long. So I will train 3 to 4 times a week. That's 4 times a week now in the garage. And I also really want to get my money's worth out of my CrossFit membership. So I'll be like, well, the more I go, the cheaper it costs me per session, because I'm paid up for the year, so I'm getting my money's worth. But the motivating factor at the minute is I wanted to come back to the gym in better shape than I left it. So I really worked hard on, I'll say, so a key difference between being in a scaled category and being in an RX category for like CrossFit competitions is a scaled, you would use 15 kilo dumbbells for workouts, and an RX you'd use 22.5 kilo dumbbells. So I borrowed the 22.5. So I made myself do that weight. I bought myself some 22.5 kilo dumbbells as well, because I just thought, well, I need to make the most of this situation. I've got the time to train. I've got the equipment to train. And I want to get back there being stronger and faster than when I left, just to prove that you can do it. Like, you don't need to have a CrossFit gym. You don't need to have all the equipment. You don't need to have the latest, stuff and somebody programming all your workouts for you to get better in your own sort of space. And that was a big motivating factor for me. But I always have in my training, there's always progressive overload anyway. So just doing that extra rep, doing that extra weight, doing that extra round, there's always something that's going to be pushing me forwards. I think that's one of the good things about powerlifting, and the bad things is you never get to where you want to be. You're always chasing something heavier. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where you just stop and go, well, this is a cool way, so I'm just going to do this for 5 sets of 5 for the rest of my life. It's like, no, let's add some more on.
Right.
That's probably what got me injured in the first place.
Well, that's the interesting thing is, you make a good point there, especially with powerlifting. There's always something more to chase.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, for me, it took a couple of years before I kind of really got into it. I've told people that I'm not a power lifter, but I enjoy powerlifting.
Yeah.
And so I walk that fine line between being grotesquely fat and strong.
Yeah.
And so, that's one of the ultimate fears that I have for why I continue to lift the way I do is because I have fat kid tendencies, and I don't want to go back to 320 pounds. But, being strong will also mean you're going to add weight. And so the scale isn't always the best at telling the truth. So the truth lies somewhere in between.
When I look at your stuff, I think it's like more like power building, maybe, because you do so much accessory stuff, and you're so creative with how you use your rack, and you build your own equipment and all that kind of thing. There's so much more than just, you look at my personal feeds. The Garage Built Will one is just squat, bench, deadlift, squat, bench, deadlift.
Yeah.
It's just, but that's what I do. And it sort of echoes over the years. Well, you can see how long I've been doing it for, and I'm always doing that because that's just what I do. Whereas I can see your stuff, you're doing all sorts of different stuff with your the arms on your rack and all that kind of stuff. It's so cool to see like how creative you can be.
It is, because that's something for me. I don't have the space. Like, I'm almost out of room, and so what my thought was, how can I implement machine work and in the least amount of space? And so I've been able to just slowly but surely come up with a few more ideas here, there on how to utilize it. I built, I've got the reverse hyper that I built. I have a seal row bench that I built. So there are some things that don't work as well. I want to get an isolateral row machine, but those are incredibly expensive. But also it's the holy grail, I guess, if you will, of back row machines. But it's been good though. The accessory piece for me has been really important, because like even a bench press, I really won't bench heavy anymore without using like the slingshot, because my shoulder literally, it just can't handle the weight. But my other shoulder can. But my injured shoulder just can't handle the weight anymore. So I've got to find ways to be inventive, and so I've found a lot of other accessory work that doesn't pressure my shoulder the way a standard bench press does. Same thing like with the Mars bar and the squats. I've found other ways to get comparable work in without the pain. So that's what college football will do to you, I suppose. But I don't know. It's been fun though, nonetheless, especially with the amount of space that I've been able to save. So it's one thing that if you can find ways to add value without adding space, you can really add some really good exercises. And like the one thing for me was the reverse hyper. That one exploded my deadlift, because I'd never done one before.
Right.
And so once I built that, my deadlift went up, almost 100 pounds in a span of 6 months, I think, just having that lower back strength that I wasn't able to replicate anywhere else. So that's been a big advantage. But you had mentioned too about listening to music. What's your go-to?
It's normally AC/DC for
Okay.
me.
I can see you being an ACDC guy for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. I stick on, Shoot to Thrill or Hell's Bells, and that's just a good hype song to get going. But I like all sorts of music. I like hip hop. I listen to dance music and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, the minute just AC/DC has just got it for me. But the annoying thing is that anytime you post anything on Instagram with AC/DC on there, they're all over you.
Yeah.
Like you can't post that shit. And I'm like, oh man, need to go back and do the comments again and the
Yeah.
caption and mute it. But yeah, that's a good one for me. I think I music really affects how I work out. I can do it in silence, or I can just do it listening to a podcast or something. But actually, to get amped up and in the right zone to really do a big heavy set, or do an AMRAP workout or something, the music's got to be right. When I train and do a CrossFit workout or something, if the music stops and all you can hear is your own heart beating in your head, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. So yeah, I really do like to get the tunes, especially anything AC/DC is pretty good for getting on the rower, doing air bike, anything like that. It's just really good for me at the minute. I really like those guys. Yeah, I started trying to get into a bit of country as well, a bit of Luke Combs, but didn't
You
really
need to
pan out too well.
get into you should venture into the older stuff.
Yeah.
George
Well,
Strait. George Strait. You got to listen to King, man.
okay, I'm writing him down. George Strait.
George
I'll give him a
Strait.
go.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
always open to new music suggestions, and I try a few, and they don't always cut it.
his that's probably not one you want to work out to, I would
Okay.
say. That's one more of you're going to sit around a fire and drink a few beers to.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you might be inclined to get a cowboy hat after that.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And a pickup truck, maybe. I'm after a pickup truck anyway. I wouldn't use one. I don't need one. I just really
yeah.
want one.
Well, there you go. See, now pickup truck and George Strait and a cowboy hat. Don't
I'm
forget
there.
the boots. You'll need the boots.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll need the boots
I
without a doubt.
remember really wanting a pair of cowboy boots when I was like 20, 21, and I'm so glad I never got them because, man, I would have got bullied. It would have been bad.
I lived in Texas for about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months, and that place is a game changer, man.
Yeah.
You ever come to the States, you've got to go see Texas.
Mhm.
It's legitimate when they say everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
That is a true statement, without a doubt. It's a true statement, but it'll make you want to do things that you never thought you'd do.
Yeah.
Like when I came home, I had a hat and boots, and I still wear the boots. Actually, I've
Yeah.
got actually a whole set of boots now,
Oh, wow.
but it's something that, I don't know. I guess you leave with a part of it,
Yeah.
part of it
That's cool.
within you. So, I talked to your brother about a couple of things. He had mentioned at the time he was working through 75 hard.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something that you've dived into as well, or?
I've not tried it. He's he is really into Andy Frisella. He
Mhm.
just it speaks to him in volumes. He doesn't know if it's confirmation bias, like this guy is saying the things that he thinks or whatever it is. But he came across him recently, and he's just been really focused on listening to the podcast, doing the 75 hard, and it's really helping him drive forward a few things that he's doing. So not just the garage built athlete stuff, but in his own work and personal life is really helping him. I haven't been tempted to do it. I think a couple of reasons why you have to do 2 45-minute workouts a day, and one of them's got to be outside. And I recently, maybe last year, I did 10,000 steps a day every day for over a year. And it got to the point where I was, out in the pouring rain, in the freezing cold, in waterproofs, just because I had to get in the 10,000 steps. And it was nothing that anybody had told me I needed to do. I have quite an addictive personality, quite obsessive personality. So, for example, most recently, I said to myself one day, I'm not going to have any snacks. And I'm maybe 3 months in, and I've leaned out like an incredible amount just from not snacking. And because I just said to myself that one day, I just don't have any snacks, it's just every day now. and I don't know when I'm going to stop. I don't know when. I should have put like a time limit on it, but I think I would probably be quite good at doing the 75 hard if I wanted to do it, but I'm just not in the place where actually I want to, read 10 pages of a book. I want to do the 2 45-minute workouts. I want to take a progress picture every day. There's quite a lot to it that he's sort of seeing the benefits from it, but he's having to start again and start again and start again, which is great, because that's the point. It's not to do it 75 days in a row and then, okay, well, you're done now. That failing and starting again helps build the discipline and build the habits. And I think he's read 3 or 4 books now, just because of the 75 hard. You have to read 10 pages a day, so that's been really good for him. I'm not a big reader either. I like listening to podcasts and things much more than I could pick up a book. There's also different levels of it. I think there's like, I don't know what they're called, but it's like extra hard and triple hard bastard versions of 75 hard, and they just get ridiculous. So it'll be interesting to see where he gets to with it over the coming months.
So what are the podcasts you like to listen to?
I've started listening now to Andy Frisella. Now and again, I haven't got as much time as I did have to listen to podcasts. I used to burn through podcasts and audiobooks in the commute. That was one good thing about having to travel between 2 and 3 hours a day, is that you just chew through podcasts. Joe Rogan Experience was just a great one. To really like listening to that. And then I switched from podcasts to audiobooks, because I found like with the podcasts, it was quite factual stuff, and I wanted a little bit to escape from reality a little bit in the commute, and just maybe learn some things. I listened to quite a few books, like The Chimp Paradox. I think Matt maybe mentioned that on his podcast as well, by I think it's Professor Steve Rogers. So a lot about how your mind works. There's some other ones, I can't remember them now because it's been so long since I listened to one. I started going through the Game of Thrones books, because I just found like it was just a great way to absorb information on the drive, and even if I sort of zoned out for a while, I'd still be taking in a lot of information. I wish I could remember the name of some of these books. Sapiens, that was another one, like about the history of humans, all that kind of stuff I really enjoyed. But yeah, podcast for me, Joe Rogan Experience was just phenomenal. It was really good.
What I like about with Joe Rogan is that he just has everybody and anybody that you could possibly think of on the show.
Yep.
From every spectrum.
Yep.
And whether it's a political person or like one of the people that I really like and I've been listening to a lot of is Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He's had him on. He's had, I think, Jocko Willink, and just tons and tons of people from all walks of life.
Yeah.
So it's no wonder he's been so successful. But I mean, there's a lot of the value that he's been able to bring just from his show alone shows, his reach, I guess you could say. So
yeah, and it was due to him, due to listening to Joe Rogan, that I would then go and find some of the books that he was talking about on the podcast, and then I'd get that on the Audible, and I'd listen to that book, and then they'd reference some other book, and then I'd go and listen to that, and that I found really helped me just discovering more things, discovering different topics that I'd be interested in, different people, like say Jordan Peterson. And I think one of the other reasons I stopped listening was that the same conversation, he kept having the same conversation with different people. Like he'd have his buddies on the show, and it was the same thing. It was Trump, it was this, it was that, and it was just the same thing. So I started to think, actually, well, do I really want to spend another hour listening to the same conversation with a slightly different person?
Yeah.
Maybe do I want to go and explore some of the things that they've been talking about in a bit more detail? And yeah, so that's when I think I jumped over to the audiobooks and started listening to some of those. But he has some funny guys on there, man. It's like Joey Diaz just absolutely cracks me up. Some of the guys that he rolls with. So
yeah, cool. He's an interesting, Joe Rogan's he's an interesting character because he can really come out of left field with a lot of different things, you
Mhm.
know, between the UFC and then talking about politics. And
Yeah.
I mean, he's a smart guy. He's a
Hmm.
real smart guy. So
Yeah. And he's a weapon as well, man. I don't know if you've seen him throwing kicks, but
yes,
Jesus.
yes. I saw his gym recently too. It's incredible. He's
Yeah.
got it all decked out in Sornex. I mean, it's just all the whole custom, and it's absolutely incredible. It's
Because
absolutely
he's,
incredible.
I can't remember what one of his taglines is when he goes for a workout. It's something like quiet and you're in a bitch or something like that. It's just when he doesn't want to do something, he then just goes and just thrashes it. And
Yeah,
yeah, I like that kind of attitude. Is just
yeah.
do it even though it's hard, you know.
And that's the one thing that I love about the gym is that there's nobody else to point a finger at, you
Hmm.
know, and it's you versus you, and you've got to do what you've got to do, and you're holding yourself accountable. I think that's one of the greatest things about it is
Yeah.
being able to put yourself through it, but know that, you know, can you honestly tell yourself that you're a better person now than when you first started working out, you
Yeah.
know?
I think in terms of like the accountability piece, the Instagram is one thing that I know Matt talked about. It's like one of the reasons why I post on there. It's not I post it because I want to be accountable to myself, and having it as a record of what I'm doing is almost like, right, I'm in a rhythm. It's Monday, it's overhead press. It's Tuesday, deadlift. You know, Thursday is bench press, and I think just having that almost that schedule helps with the discipline. And you know, it doesn't matter to me whether one person likes a video of me doing squats, like the thousandth video I've put up, or 100 people. I'm putting it on there because I'm saying, right, I'm doing this. I've done this today.
Yeah.
That's my evidence that I've done it. And I've got a board where I write my workouts. I've got my training logs that go back however many years. But I think putting it on there on Instagram is really helpful because you can then look back at it and go, oh, you know, I was lifting X amount at this date, and that's how it looked. I remember how that felt. I can see how hard that was. Whereas now I'm doing X amount of this and it feels easier or it feels harder. What have I done? So I really like Instagram for that. And I think what the danger is that when you start following people that you maybe are interested in or you admire, especially in powerlifting, for me anyway, I will never be as strong as any of these guys or girls or 13-year-old, you know, children who are just out benching and squatting me for the last 3 years anyway. And I think that can really work both ways. You either get motivated by that and you want to push and reach towards that, or you'll just feel like you're completely inadequate. And you're like, oh, I'll just suck compared to these guys. And it makes
Well,
you feel bad. And I think that's a really dangerous sort of place for social media.
I totally agree. That makes me reminds me of something that I was listening to from Jordan Peterson, actually, of all people. Um, I would turn you on to his book if you don't know about it. It's called 12 Rules for Life.
Yeah, I've heard of
Um,
it. I've not listened to it. I've got some credits on Audible. It's on my wish list. Yeah.
yeah, that is I think it's a life-changing book. And
Hmm.
I've told some other people, I think he's one of the most 100 influential people to come around in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
But he's got one of his rules is compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not someone else.
Yeah.
And that touches on your point that say it's the same thing with me. I'm not going to squat probably 600 pounds, if at all, ever again. You know, I did
Hmm.
that in college, but I don't know if I'll ever do that again. I'll not, you know, I won't be doing those things most likely, but that's not the point. You know, comparing yourself to others who are at different points in their life, it, that doesn't produce anything productive.
No.
Instead, you need to be asking yourself, am I a little bit better version of myself today than I was
Hmm.
yesterday? You know,
Hmm.
and that's it. Like, can I lift 5 pounds more than I did yesterday?
Yeah.
Or am I paying attention to my family a little bit more than I was yesterday? Or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. You know, if you can answer yes that you're doing those things, then I think that's the most important thing, because like you
Yeah.
said, especially with social media, you know, it's so um, it's so analytical in comparing, you know, our successes versus someone else's, when how much of that is true. You know,
Yeah,
we don't really know.
I think that's I, I think that's why we wanted to do it a little bit differently. Like you see all sorts of crazy workouts going on, and people doing like is it Juji Mofo? I can't remember how you say his name. Whatever, you know, he's deadlifting stuff that's on fire and backflipping everywhere, which is cool. And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is cool. I hit the like on that. But you know, it's not like it doesn't feel like it's genuine.
Right.
Like it doesn't feel like, well, that's, you know, how he got to that place was, you know, by backflipping and deadlifting things that are on fire.
Yeah.
You know, I want to see how he got that strong, not necessarily the crazy stuff that he can do. But I also think that there's some things that come from like social media that can just help you self-correct a little bit. Like myself and my wife, we were watching the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma.
My wife is watching that right now.
Oh, cool. So yeah, it's a good one to watch because it just sort of gets you to just take a little bit of an objective look at how you interact with other people and how you maybe interact with the phone and things like that. Like my wife will say to me, "Oh, you're always on your phone," and yeah, hands up, I am on my phone a lot, but I do a lot of stuff with it.
Yeah.
And I don't really see it as an issue until someone needs to point it out to me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll probably just put this away for a couple of hours and spend some actual time talking to people. And then, you know, that's when I start to feel bad. It's like, actually, last time my daughter tried to get my attention, you know, was I on my phone? Was I fully talking to her, or was I, you know,
Yeah.
and that's when I think, well, actually, I could be better. I could be better than I was yesterday, because I can just cut that time out where actually this is I'm going to dedicate it fully to the people that are in front of me and not be half in the room.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think it can do that as well for people. That what we wanted to do was show people that actually, like, you don't need you know, a fantastic, you know, state-of-the-art facility. You don't need to have been born with fantastic genetics to be able to do stuff. You can just start doing things and you will get better at them. And that's what we try and show in our videos. Is like, yeah, Matt's training in his sort of basement. You know, he's got mats on the floor. I'm training in my garage, and you can just get there, like from the couch to where we're at, just by starting. And that seems to get people interested in what we're doing and start to interact with us a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I also get people comment like, I had a friend of mine from high school comment on one of my posts where I did a bar muscle up. So for anybody that doesn't know, it's like you do a bit of a swing and a pull up onto a pull up bar, and then you push out into a dip over the top of the bar. And he said something like, oh, it's absolutely amazing that you can do that considering how old you are. And he was sort of like, it was like a backhanded compliment. And I was like, I'm like 36. I was like, that doesn't feel old to me. You know, I don't think that's old. I'm in the best shape of my entire life.
Right.
I was overweight as a kid. You know, I don't think I actually started to get into shape until I was in my mid 20s. And even then it was, you know, I wasn't doing anything half of what I'm doing now. And I just thought that there's people out there that are my age, you know, in their 30s, that they've just given up.
Well, that's a great example of somebody comparing themselves to you versus themselves.
Yeah.
And the next time you should invite him over and see if he can do it.
Yeah. And you know, and all it takes is to try. You know,
right.
I didn't think I could do a one-legged squat, like a pistol squat, and then I tried it, and
when I saw you do that, my knees exploded internally.
Oh man,
oh my gosh!
I had surgery on my meniscus 4 years ago, so I had
that just looked painful for me. But man, you did it well though, and it was fun. In a way, it was fun watching the progress. That and the handstand. You know, that was cool to see.
And that was through lockdown as well. Like before lockdown, if I did a pistol, so one-legged squat, I'd do it to a bench like what I'm sitting on now, or to a tire, or to some weight plates. And then the progression is you just take the the height out, so you go lower and lower and lower. And then I was doing it to a wall ball, which is, you know, like 1.5 feet off the floor. And the thing that pushed me to then go and do it properly was that I entered an online competition, the European Championships, and in the workouts you had to do pistols. You couldn't do it to a wall ball or a target. You had to do it. So it was a case of, well, if I just need to go and try then, and that's kind of the way I progress in the CrossFit movements is you get forced into a position where you have to try it. And you might think, I'm never going to be able to do it. I didn't ever think I'd be able to do a one-legged squat with no assistance. And I was doing sets of 30 of them on Friday. So it's mad what you can do when you just go ahead and try doing it. Yeah. Same with the handstand push-ups. You know, it's weird. You're upside down. It's bloody heavy on the shoulders. I've neglected overhead press work because I hurt my shoulder, again, another injury a while ago. So I've never really done overhead stuff. And then here we go. Handstand push-ups are in a competition that I've entered. So I'm going to have to train them and, you know, throw yourself up there and start doing something. That's, that really helped push me to a place where actually I believe I can do more stuff now.
Yeah.
And I'll try the stuff as well. Like, you know, I'll give that horrible workout a go. Somebody will send me something horrendous and I'll just like, well, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'll try it. I know it's going to suck, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah. I like that. As we kind of close up here, I got a couple more questions for you. So you kind of touched on it already, but if you had to give any advice to somebody who is either looking to start a page or just start something new, what would you tell them?
Just start and figure it out. Yeah, you'll figure it out later. I think me and Matt, we probably would have done this years ago. But, you know, other things just get in the way and you think, well, I'm never going to have time, but you make the time. But yeah, if you want to start doing something, don't worry about the destination. Just take the first step towards getting there, because it's not going to happen without that first step. So if it's a page you want to start, then just go ahead and see if that username is free and go for it. If it's, you know, going and training at a gym, then just go ahead and book yourself on and push yourself into that position. I think a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there. They're maybe afraid that they will get, you know, ridiculed or something, or somebody will say something, or people will think something about them, and you know, that's
without
mainly
a doubt
your own head. You know, people are, whenever I've tried something new, super encouraging. You know, they'll tell you that you're awesome, even though you don't think you're awesome. You know, that kind of stuff happens. There's some really good people out there that will encourage and support you. But in order for them to do that, you need to do the thing first. You know, no one's going to come along and do it for you. So just start.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And that was something that I told myself, that I was sitting on this idea for a while too. And just to see where it's grown, you know, could you have imagined where you guys are at when you first started? Could you have seen, could you have envisioned, you know, the success that you guys have had?
I mean, we put a post up, I was looking at it today. We put a post up, I think it's something like a year or so ago, and it's got like 11 likes, and one of them was me and one of them was Matt. So. But yeah, it's really cool. I think we're still having to just chip away at it. You know, we often say you just got to chip away.
Yeah.
We have an idea of where we want things to go. We've got like a vision of what we want to do with Garage Built Athlete and the dream, but we're just taking it one step at a time and doing the things that we think work, and having a go at the stuff that we don't know is going to work, and having a bit of a gamble on some things, and just putting ourselves out there and seeing what happens, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's no doubt you guys are going to be so much more successful as things continue on. So you guys have a great community, and you guys are doing a heck of a job, I think, without a doubt. So
thanks.
There's you know, especially with the shop and the website, everything that you guys got going for you, it's you know, you're starting to reap what you've sown, you know, through all of that the the startup and the difficulty and everything else. So
Yeah, and you know, we sort of tend to work on the basis of it happens one person at a time. So you build an empire one person at a time.
yeah,
Matt said that to me a little while ago, and you know, we lose people along the way. We lost followers, you know, we maybe gain sort of 50, 60 a week from what Matt does, and we'll lose 20, 30 in that same week. But the people that stick around, that's the core of the community that we've got. You know, those people who comment and they interact and they tag us in the posts, that helps massively. You know, someone will want to buy a t-shirt, they'll get the t-shirt, they'll stick a post on, somebody else will comment on it. You know, that's how it grows. It's just that sharing of the images and sharing of the information that we've got. That really helps to spread it and grow it. So that's why we're genuinely excited when somebody contacts us and say, "Oh, can I get a t-shirt?" You know, when we get a tag on a post, it's like, "Oh, awesome! Someone's tagged us in a post. This is mad." It still blows my mind that there's the flags just in people's homes all around the world, and I just think that is absolutely nuts, because I designed that, like sat on my sofa over there in the other room. I was like, oh man, I'm trying to figure out how to do like Inkscape designs and things, and I'm terrible on computers, and I sort of put it together, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then people dig it, they're putting it up in their house. I'm like, shit, that's awesome. So yeah, you know, there's we have so many people in the USA, so many people. They really it tends to be more people from the USA that tend to follow and get in touch with us.
That's not surprising.
They just love that.
It's big over here, man. When I first started getting into that, I had no idea the community of it. It's incredible, just incredible.
And you know, they're absolutely awesome. You know, I send out with every order. Now I'm sticking a little sticker in there, which is the logo. I always write a note to everybody to say thanks for the order and sort of wish them well and hope they're doing good, and hope their flag brings them some PVs, and people really respond to that. I think a lot of companies, when you get a parcel, I ordered some coffee beans the other day, and I got a little parcel, and they'd put a handwritten note in it, and I was like, oh, I'm just trying to copy my style, but people really like that. You know, it said, you know, welcome and thanks for your first order. You know, hope you're having a great weekend, because he knew it was going to get there on the Friday. So, you know, it's just stuff like that just makes a difference. It does. It really does. It makes people feel special, and that's what we want to do. We want to make people feel good when they have an interaction with us. We want when they tag us, we will look at that post, we will read that post, we will like it, we will comment on it. You know, whatever it is, however many there are, we'll look at them, and that's what I think is really starting to grow now. I did a little story post. You mentioned I was sort of all over the stories. I do it. We take turns on the stories. Matt's on it now. He's packing up his garage in Spain at the minute.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. He sent me. He sent me a screenshot to say, "Oh, we've got over 1,000 posts, and now got hashtag Garage Built Athlete." And I said, yeah, well, probably 500 of those are me. But there's still another 500 people out there that have taken the time to hashtag Garage Built Athlete on their post, which is just crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And, you know, we want to keep going. Thinking about doing a little giveaway soon again, because people always like a little giveaway, and that just helps to get the word out and spread it even further as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. That'll help. It's always fun. Everybody loves free stuff. One of the best lines, at least with Americans, the two best marketing words in America are free and all you can eat. And so anytime you can include those two words together, even if it's one of them, people will jump on board.
Yeah, so. Jump on it.
Yeah.
But yeah. It does. I think one thing that we've really struggled with figuring out, and it tends to come and go, is the exposure on the hashtags as well on Instagram. We tend to find some of our posts really get a really good amount of reach, and we'll tend to go out to more people, and we try and do that every time, because we need the posts to reach further than they do, so we can find the people that are interested in like the garage gym community. But quite a few of them, I think they just sort of cling into our community that we've already got. They don't tend to break free as much as we'd like. So if there's any social media experts out there that want to help us out, that'd be, that'd be
Yes.
good, 'cause we just started doing it. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. Any of the dozen listeners that's listening
Yeah,
out there, if
yeah. You
you want
never know, man.
to drop Will a line,
Yeah, just
help
get in
them out.
touch. Yeah, that'd be
But
awesome.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just one of those. I've had the same experiences, so I
Yeah.
don't know. Sometimes there's some lucky breaks, other times it's not. But I think like what you guys have done, consistency, man. That's the king.
Yeah,
Consistency and persistency.
yeah,
And
yeah. We tend to want to post something that will get people thinking a little bit. So we like the little motivational stuff, and we do micro blogs as well. So something with a story behind it. I try and do something that's a little bit fun every now and again. Get people interacting as well. So it's a real nice blend. I really like the look of when you go to the page now, the Instagram page, just how the page lands and it hits you. It's got quite a nice look at the minute. So we're trying to keep that consistent, and that's obviously how you build the brand up, is that
yeah,
people, they know what they get every time they go there. They'll get the same sort of
yeah,
experience that they can rely on. So that's where we're going with it. But yeah, consistency. We're trying to post every day and make it like a good post, not just fluff. Trying to
absolutely,
make good posts
yeah.
as well.
So as we kind of close up shop here, I got two more questions for you that I always ask at the end.
Yeah.
So give me your first thing that comes to mind, either first word or first phrase when you hear strength. What's that mean to you?
I think I've sort of mentioned it earlier on. I think strength is doing the stuff that you don't want to do and just going ahead and doing it anyway. You know it's going to suck. You know it's hard. And if you can do it with a smile on your face, if you can make it look easy, then I think that's strength.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Now, leadership. How about that?
Leadership. I suppose leadership would be bringing the best out of people.
I like that.
And taking no credit for it.
That's good. That reminds me of something Simon Sinek, if you've ever heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I like his definition of leadership, more or less, is looking out after the person to the right of you and to the left of you.
Yeah.
And I thought that that's a really good, wholesome quality definition of it. Is cool. When you were doing that in combination of not worrying about who gets the credit, you're going places. And cool. And that's something that I've been trying to put forth in like my own page too. And that's why one reason, because part of my mantra is strength and leadership, which is why I post at least twice a day. Yeah. So in the morning, it's not so much about the way I post in the morning. It's not so much the program that I'm doing. It's more about trying to show other ways to get a workout in, mm-hmm. or for inspiration and motivation, because like you said, it's part of it is tracking. Yeah. Right. And I've had people comment and say damn, you do this every day. Yeah. I train 6 days. And so for me, that's become for them telling me that I motivate them, they're in turn motivating me to continue doing it. And so I like doing those in the morning, and in the afternoons I come out with a leadership post, and I always do it's some quote that I just like, and it's been good, you just don't know who you're going to impact at any given moment.
That's it. And I think, that's part of the deal, isn't it? You put it out there, and if you expect nothing back, then you'll never be disappointed.
I agree.
You could be helping somebody in a way that you'll never realize, and you'll never know about it. Which, probably, if you did know about it, you'd probably get too big for your own boots. But yeah, I think that consistency, and we don't think we're doing anything particularly amazing here, but we've had people say you guys are amazing. It's just, oh yeah, fantastic. They say, oh, the stuff you're doing is so awesome, and it's just stuff that we do, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to start the page, is just to show people, well, you can do it too.
And that's what
well
makes
within
it
your grasp.
authentic, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So before we close,
Mhm.
here's your chance to your shameless
I'll
plug,
some stuff.
your self promotion, man. Where to the 12 or 13, we'll say a baker's
So
dozen,
Baker's dozen, is that
a
30?
baker's dozen of people who are listening. Where do they go to find you?
Yeah, so the main hub of everything is Instagram. So at Garage Built Athlete, all one word. We're also on Facebook as Garage Built Athlete too, and we've got www.garagebuiltathlete.com. So if you want some merch, which we do, in case you haven't noticed, then you can just drop us a DM on Instagram. We do have some levels of stock available on the website, but it's really low. We tend to build everything to order. So if you want something, we'll build it for you. It's all custom built. You can have whatever color, whatever material you like. It's really fun because the only way we tend to do new products is when people just message me and go, "Oh, can you do like a stretchy short?" And I'm like, "Oh, I reckon so." So yeah, just get in touch and drop us a DM. We don't bite. We're quite happy to chat to you. If you don't want to chat, you can head to the website and just buy something straight off there. That's cool.
Great. I'm going to be getting a shirt soon too. So
Yeah.
expect one from me soon.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, that'll be good.
All right, buddy. Well, you get some sleep, man. I know it's late over there.
Oh yeah. Well, it's 20 past 10 now. So I'll probably be heading up soon.
Yeah. Well,
I think I can hear your crew like.
It's 20 after 5 here, so it's dinner time. I got
people are getting hungry now.
Yeah, we're getting a little rambunctious, so it's probably a good time to log off here.
Awesome.
So, well, hey, Will, man, I appreciate the time. Thanks a bunch, buddy.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll be talking soon.
Cheers.